This is Alan with the Grilling Network. Welcome. Today I'm smoking spare ribs on my vertical offset smoker from Lonestargrillz. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and smash that like button. To get started, I need to fire up my Lonestargrillz vertical offset smoker. Like I've said before, it's hard to beat the flavors you get when cooking with fire. Since this takes about an hour to preheat, let's get going. As you see here, I have plenty of space, which gives me a variety of ways to start and maintain the fire. For those longer cooks, up to 6 to 8 hours, I use my charcoal basket as seen here. But for most cooks, I just lay a bed of Fogo lump charcoal to bring my pit up to temp. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using Fogo lump charcoal for this cook. This is their super premium lump charcoal. I've been using them for a few years now, highly impressed. I laid a bed of charcoal in my firebox. Next, we'll get the chimney started so we can get this process going. Now that my chimney is roaring and ready to be placed on top of the bed of charcoal, let's do that now. Using gloves. Once my vertical offset smoker is up to temp, today we're shooting for 275 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll start adding pecan wood splits for additional flavoring. I got this from a local business here in Southern California called The Woodshed. If you're in the area, make sure you check them out. As with most things, there are several ways to prepare. When it comes to cooking spare ribs, it's no different. Here we have a cryovac of 2 whole spare ribs. I would typically trim off this top part and square it off, wasting a lot of meat. Today we're going to be doing whole spare ribs, which is a little bit different, requires minimal trimming. Let's remove this from the cryovac and show you that process. I've removed these whole spare ribs from the cryovac. As I mentioned before, just minor trimming. If you want, you can square off a little bit, but this doesn't have any thin part at the end. Trim off any thick fat that you see here. This looks pretty good. But what I like doing is removing the silver skin on the back. Take a butter knife, get underneath one of the bones, and then grab a paper towel. Grab it and then just pull it off. That simple. Next, if it's got any of this back flap or back meat right here, just right like this, I just trim that off. And that's pretty much it. I'll finish the rest of these off camera and we'll get to applying our rub next. For today's cook, I'm going to be using some rubs from my friends at Suckle Buster. I'm a firm believer in layering my rubs for additional flavor. For the first application of rub, I'm going to be using hog waller. It's great for pork. Going to liberally apply it all over the rib, making sure I hit both sides. Once I'm done with this, we'll let it sweat for 20 minutes before applying our second coat. As I mentioned earlier, it's hard to beat the flavors you get from an offset smoker and cooking with fire. We have a good bed of Fogo lump charcoal to keep the fire going, and now time to add our flavor. We have pecan wood. It's going to add an amazing flavoring. As our ribs are finishing sweating up, we'll let this go. See you back soon. As our ribs have sweated for about 15 minutes, it's time for the second application of rub, and for that we're using Suckle Buster's Texas Pecan. As before, just make sure you hit liberally all areas and both sides. This is not only going to add amazing coloring, but amazing flavor. Now that my Lone Star offset smoker is up to temp at 275 degrees Fahrenheit, it's time to add our ribs. As you see here, we've got plenty of room. I'm going to spread these out since I have several racks. Man, this smells amazing. Now for the easy part, just clean up the mess I made. Every hour on the hour, I'm gonna hit it with some apple juice, toss the log on the fire, enjoy the smell that you get from an offset smoker. We're right at the 2-hour mark and time to add another pecan log to the firebox and give our ribs a good spritz with apple juice. Let's do that now, wearing gloves. Here we go. We'll leave that open so the log catches fire just a bit. These are looking amazing. They already have a dark mahogany color, which is what we're going for. Here's a pro tip. If you start seeing white smoke, just open the door for a little bit, allow the white smoke to go away, and then close the door. All right, we're about 3 hours into the smoking process and on to the next step, and that's wrapping. You can definitely use aluminum foil, but I like using butcher paper as it allows the ribs to continue to adhere smoke during the remaining cooking process. Let's grab a rack now. Looks and smells phenomenal. Close this back up so we don't lose heat. What I like doing before I wrap my ribs is apply a few more ingredients, and that's some brown sugar. Just dust it across the rack of the rib. Add a couple pats of butter. And a bead of honey. We'll wrap this up, toss it back in the smoker for about another hour. We'll see you back soon. All right. Experience has taught me that it only takes another hour after you wrap them for them to be done. Let's check on them now. You can tell that they bend. Let's close this up. Going to use an aluminum tray so it captures all the juices, and we'll unwrap these bad boys. Wow. Let me set this aside, and we'll pull these ribs off. Look at that. They look amazing. The easiest way to carve into them is flip it over. That way you can see the direction where the bones are going. We're just going to carve right here in the middle. Don't know if you can see that, but look at that amazing smoke ring. These look and smell amazing. Can't wait to give it a try. Wow. That is absolutely phenomenal. You guys have to give this a try. It's hard to beat the flavors you get from an offset smoker. You know, you have to give it a try. The flavors that I got from Suckle Busters was an added bonus. The flavor that you get from your pecan wood or any flavor that you use, absolute must try. I want to thank you for stopping by, for watching this video. If you can, please subscribe and smash that like button, and we'll see you on the next one. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using Fogo lump charcoal. This is their super premium lump charcoal. I've been using them for a few years now and highly impressed. I laid a bed of charcoal inside my firebox. Box. One more time, Jan.